Hi folks, this is Big Ted in Oz. It's 3rd or 4th of February, 3rd of February I think. I'm now heading home early from work. I've just had a somewhat stressed phone call from my wife. There's a bushfire emergency watch and act in our area. While the bushland is a long way from us, that I think is on fire, we have a natural wetland over the road from us, which in most cases is wet, but being summertime it's all dried up, so it's actually sitting there waiting to catch fire I think. So I'm heading home, so hopefully there's no problem, and I'm sure there's not, but I'd like to be sure about these things. Anyway, we'll see when we get there. Just about to turn around over the onto the bridge to head home south over the river. I've just spoken to my wife. There's smoke everywhere, and we've done the right thing I think, is to turn the water on the air conditioner to wet the inlet and turn that off, and then we've turned the sprinklers on the garden, and you'll see in a minute what the commotion's about. I live about 25 kilometres from where I am right now, and there she is. I assume you can see it on this wide angle lens, but it's pretty impressive. Still burning fiercely from what I'm hearing too. It's not like it's under control at all, so fingers crossed it'll be alright. I'm sure it's a long way from my home, but part of the challenge will be that we're on the looking at it as we stand, as I ride I should say, we're on the right hand side of that, so all the smoke is actually blowing towards my house. So while I'm sure our house is safe from fire, I'm not even sure I'll actually be able to get to my house, depending on how they close roads. While I've had my motorcycle license for about 23 years, I've only been riding this bike in this sort of stint for about 2.5 years. Prior to that, as a 10-year gap. When I got back on the bike this time round, I did a lot of research and googling and things, as you typically do, trying to refresh my mind about motorcycle safety and what bike to pick and all that sort of stuff. And I revisited one site that I'd seen before, and I went through it with a fine-tooth comb, and this fire is reminding me of one particular recommendation this site made, and that was, if you're in a hurry, don't ride a motorcycle. Get in a car. So if you're late for work, late for getting home, as I am, wanting to get home in a hurry because of the potential fire, a motorcycle is actually the worst place to be on, because you start to take risks and do things that you shouldn't do. So I am very consciously trying to ride to the speed limit at the moment, as much as I'd like to fang it down the freeway at the moment. Trying to be a good boy. In WA we are actually allowed to do what I'm doing, as long as you indicate and you're safe, etc. More accurately, there's no rule that prevents it. So if you happen to do something stupid, they'll nail you on it. But I'm going fairly slowly. I'm trying to indicate. I think people appreciate it. Nice trucks moving out the way. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks guys. Now it's really starting to get heavy. I'm sure the smoke's causing this now, because that smoke's coming across the freeway. I'm sure they put warnings out. Hopefully I'm not going to get trapped by road closures. Close the visor. I can just start to get a faint whiff of smoke now. Well, that's pretty big. A bit of a loop through the suburb here, but that That fire is quite a distance from here, but obviously it's causing a bit of problem with the road closures. Pretty bloody black though. See why my wife was panicking a bit. See the water, you may not be able to pick it up on the camera, but there's quite a few water bomber, helicopter, tanker, aircraft in the air at the moment. You can see about 4 at the moment. Of course, one of the issues is that you'll see some kids in the street now. Today's the first day's official day of schools going back after the Christmas break, and right now is when the schools are opening the doors to let the kids out, so there's probably quite a few panicky mums and dads around as well. Kids probably think it's great fun. There's actually a lake near our house where, as you'll see, they love using for collecting water. You see some low flying helicopters right now. Now our place will be fine. It's actually over here, so it's under the blue sky. Thank God. I'll go for a little tour. It's not going to be any problem. I'm certainly not going to get in the way. Last thing I want to do. But I'll head towards the lake to see if I can see the helicopters slurping up the water they're using to put that thing out with. They are the biggest kick-ass helicopters I've ever seen. Don't know what they're called, but they until they're parked next to something on the ground, you really have no idea how big those things are. I reckon they're sort of, think of a semi-trailer with an extra bogie on the back. The fire's not that far away actually, looking at this. Here's that lake. Pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn loud. Smell of smoke is very strong at the moment. Wonder how much they carry. Off he goes. Speed of that smoke would suggest to me that it's actually quite close. Like you can see it twisting and rising quite quickly. So, I'm not a fireman or I'm not a physicist, but it looks to me like it's not that far away. Again, I'm not sure my house is safe. It's not far from here. You see when you come around the corner that black smoke, which is really thick at the moment through my helmet. Another one coming into land. So there's probably only about I'll say a kilometre away, straight in front of me. There's normally a lot of bird life in this lake. I bet they're not here now. I might get wet here. This might be a dumb place to park. Over the top. Another wind change. Yeah. I know you don't want to turn right into Gibbs Road at 3:30. Sorry?
Some else is on fire down there.
Oh really? What, Tapper Road?
Aircon board on fire.
Hello folks, it's Wednesday the 5th, 2 days after the fire. It's actually still burning, but certainly under control now. Part of the problem is most of the area that had been burnt is old swamp area, and I guess there's the equivalent of a lot of peat in the ground. So it's very hard for them to put out. Yesterday morning they actually had helicopters flying over early in the day with thermal imaging to see if they could identify hot spots to try and focus on those. Certainly worked. I mean, the fire's very much contained and under control, and they had about 100 people, 100 homes evacuated I should say, in the peak of it 2 days ago, but they're all let back in now. Last night I think it was. So I'm just heading off to see. All the roads should be open now, so I'm just going to drive past and show you exactly where the fire came to. So again, this is about 700 metres from my home, and as I said earlier, the issue wasn't this fire specifically, but the ember attack that we might get into our wetland. So on the right of me is a suburb called Banjup, which is where it, okay, some of the roads are still closed. I'm not going to go down there though. This is where the fire started to come to. It's just native bush with some semi-rural properties in there. You know, people run horses and little hobby farms and things, but it's just burnt right up to the edge here. You can see through that first line of trees. And very, very, very good of the fire brigade to stop it. All of these houses along here were evacuated. And there's a 500 hectares went up apparently in the last 48 hours. We were lucky yesterday, we got a very strong sea breeze, which is a westerly, that pushed it back back from where it came basically. And that obviously helped them significantly to contain it and control it. Some of these guys have been here for a couple of days. I'm sure they're getting pretty tired. Alright, so there you go. Hopefully we won't see that for a long time to come. Alright, cheers, see you next time.